Sustentabilidade em 1 minuto. O que é pegada de carbono? O efeito estufa é fundamental para a vida na Terra, pois mantém o planeta aquecido. O problema é que muitas atividades humanas emitem CO2 e outros gases que intensificam esse processo e podem danificar ecossistemas. A pegada de carbono usa o CO2 equivalente, que mede em termos de dióxido de carbono o potencial de aquecimento global de todos os gases estufa. Queima de combustíveis fósseis, criação de pastagens para gado e queimadas são exemplos de atividades que geram emissões. Ao comer um prato de arroz, você também gera CO2. O arroz foi plantado, emitiu CO2 para se desenvolver e foi transportado até o mercado com o uso de combustíveis fósseis. Lá, você escolheu o produto, fez o transporte e o cozinhou. Tudo que é produzido possui um ciclo de vida com diferentes níveis de emissões e de impactos em cada etapa. A pegada de carbono é a aferição de todos os gases de efeito estufa que os hábitos de uma pessoa geram. Todos temos uma, já que produtos, processos e serviços podem ser quantificados em emissões. Se você usar um carro sem passageiros e comer muita carne, a sua pegada será alta. Basta mudar alguns hábitos para reduzi-la, como preferir alimentos orgânicos, usar sacolas retornáveis, ser vegetariano pelo menos uma vez na semana, fazer compostagem, deixar o carro em casa e neutralizar emissões com compra de árvores.
Tá bom.
In 2018, the United Nations released an urgent report emphasizing the need to cut carbon emissions in half by 2030 in order to avoid an irreversible climate crisis. The average consumer in Sweden causes around 10 tons of carbon emissions each year, of which 60% is linked to consumption. This spring, Doconomy took its fight against climate change one step further by adding a premium credit card to its offer. But instead of introducing a premium credit card with the typical benefits that encourages further mass consumption, Doconomy did the opposite by launching Do Black, the world's first credit card with a carbon limit. Simply put, it's the first credit card ever to stop you from overspending. Not based on your available funds, but rather on the levels of CO2 emissions caused by your consumption. Do Black helps you track your climate impact and ensures that you reduce it by 50% in line with the UN 2030 recommendation.
The core purpose of Do Black is not only the ability to measure the impact of your consumption, but also bringing it to a direct halt, making it a radical tool against climate change.
For years, credit cards have put a limit on our credit. Do Black puts a limit on our impact. The launch generated thousands of registrations and global media coverage, but more importantly, triggered the conversation around the impact of consumption. The introduction of Do Black was a wake-up call to commercial and financial industries alike, and generated an overwhelming interest and willingness to enter an era of greater responsibility. It would seem that putting a carbon impact limit on consumption isn't such a radical concept after all.
Our world is challenged like never before, from climate change to conflicts to COVID-19, which is putting the Sustainable Development Goals further out of reach. It would be easy to lose hope, but we are not hopeless or helpless. We have a path to recovery if we choose to take it. That's what this SDG moment is all about. Coming together to save our planet and each other. Coming together also with the BTS today. Which is a fantastic contribution. Now, 2 weeks ago, I launched our common agenda, a plan to reboot the multilateral system and gather the world around our common objectives. Because only by recovering together can we get the Sustainable Development Goals back on track.
It's a very pertinent question to ask, how do we build back better?
To build back better or whatever.
We have a chance to reset the clock and build back better than before.
To build back better than before.
Remember the terrible damage of COVID as we try to build back from this global pandemic.
Joe Biden calls it build back better.
Build back better.
Building back better.
To do things differently. To build back better.
We're going to build it back better.
And build it back better.
It's my plan to build back better.
Start taking all the problems that have been created in education and mental health and start to build back in a positive way.
I have launched a booklet called Build Back Better, Britain After Coronavirus.
It's about building this country back better.
Growing conspiracy following it. It is called the Great Reset.
An unprecedented opportunity to rethink and reset the ways in which we live.
The great opportunity for reset.
The theory even calls Mr. Biden's campaign slogan, Build Back Better, a front for the conspiracy.
Build back better.
Building back better our economy.
Build back better.
All elements of the Great Reset are fundamental to building the future we need.
This pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset.
It's a big effort to, some would say, to build back better. We would say to really have a great reset.
Conspiracy.
Conspiracy.
Coincidência? Acho que não!